Hi, Erin.
Hi, Joe. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm glad we got together and made this happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at the link and it was from way back in July, and I'm like, there's no way that's going to work. I gotta regenerate and restart.
And I
So
saw it in first try and all good. So here we
right
are.
on. So where are you coming out of?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love going to Florida. I'm in Kansas City. I'm landlocked. There's no mountains or oceans, so yeah.
I was just out there when was I just there? March.
Okay.
I was there for a visit. My best friend lives in California, and so we literally met in the middle
Okay.
just just to get together and yeah, hang out. But it was
So have
good.
you been here
Good.
before before that time?
No, not before that time. And we
Oh,
came right, it was the weekend of the draft. So the draft
yeah.
had just finished up like Saturday and we got there Sunday. So things were still a little kooky, but yeah, no, I loved it. It was a beautiful, beautiful
Cool.
town.
Yeah, we're going to get the World Cup, which I don't know how we did that. I have no idea how.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Crazy. Like, I still don't know how, but I went down to the draft and I
Mhm.
thought I was going to just go do kind of the NFL experience and kind of be on the outer fringe, but I actually got down in front of the stage and I was like, wow, this town is
Oh,
growing
wow,
up.
that's fun.
It was a major thing. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. So, before we dive into your life and your work, I
Yes.
want to know, how did you survive COVID? The last 3 years was quite a thing. How did you get through it, and how did it change you?
Oh, that is a big question, and it is a good question. The biggest part of it, so I'm also a massage therapist,
Yeah,
and that's where most of the income comes through. So I was shut down.
yeah,
And so that uncertainty was terrifying for me. And then it was like a whole life trajectory of what else can I do in my life so that I'm important enough to be deemed essential.
yeah,
And I went through some, kooky things like maybe if I become a chiropractor, they were allowed to stay open. I'm like, okay, I really can't live my entire life based on the what ifs of future possible pandemics or whatever. Because I'm like, I don't want to be a chiropractor. I don't.
yeah,
I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay the money to go to school for that for this something. So there was a lot of that in there, and then just being with my husband all the time, which a lot of people were. Where you're with your person every day. That's a big adjustment. Um, and they're just overall there was just a lot of anxiety, and then going back like am I being safe enough, am I being responsible, should yeah, there was a lot to it,
yeah,
and so it was just came down to really going within and saying, okay, really what do I need, and really kind of who am I and how am I going to show up for this, and in the best way I can as a human. So
yeah, yeah. And that's all we could do. I mean, it would had a monopoly on us. We had to get through it. So you had mentioned massage therapy. You have real estate. You're an author. There's a lot of things going on. So let's get to the essence here. Okay. So if
yes,
I put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day and one of the kids says, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them?
I help people take care of people.
Okay. Okay. So how do you break that down? How do each of these fit within your professional day?
The everything about the caregiving and the book and everything, that's where my momentum is right now. That's like my passion right now. The the massage just weaves in there because it's all part of our self-care. It's a way we take care of ourselves. It's a way we thank our bodies. It's how I've also learned about people because I feel it in them. I feel the trauma in them. I feel the tension in them. I see the difference in them when they start making shifts in their lives. And so it's been so educational for me, to be able to combine that with the caregiving. And then it just flows. And then the real estate investing, that's I mean, I've been doing that forever, and that just kind of coasts on the side in the background kind of thing. But
Sure.
yeah.
So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream to grow up and become?
Ooh, probably a teacher and a mom.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about how we arrived at where you're at. Take me back to where you were born and raised, and how did these seeds get into you that are very, distinct mix that became who you are?
It is. I was born in New York. moved to California when I was 7 and migrated to Southern California. Oh gosh, how old was I? 18, 19 years old. Met my husband there. We moved to Texas. I was in Southern California 15 years. We moved to Texas. I was there 5 years. Came back around to the East Coast. I've been in Florida now for 9 years. And it's interesting because I was in real estate and property management for 20 some years, and I was miserable. That's the bluntest way to put it. It's
Yeah.
when the phone rings, it's because there's a problem, and it's people yelling at you, and it's fixing problems, and it really took a toll on me. And I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore because I can't sustain it. What do I want to do? And I kept coming back to helping people. I kept coming back to massage. Um, and I'm trying to think timeline. Yeah, we did know my husband. Yes, my husband had been diagnosed with liver cancer when I made my career change. And I was like, you know what, massage I can do anywhere, like anywhere we end up. I can have a flexible schedule. It just gave a lot of possibility for me to allow to care for him. And so I made that transition. And then it wasn't until 2 years after his transplant that I really was like, I have to write a book about this, about my experience, because there's a lot out there for cancer survivors and
Yeah.
their journey and their transformation, but caregivers are very quiet and we keep a lot of things to ourselves. We don't want to complain and we don't want to whine about it. We want to be okay. We want to be the superhero and do all of the things. And it doesn't really work out that way. And so I wrote my book, and then I've been producing content for the community. I created a handbook to help organize doctor's appointments and thoughts and ask questions and have everything organized so that you can make the most time with medical professionals. And again, like I said, the free resources and everything. So that's kind of the evolution.
Yeah. So for someone that's so highly driven like you and has gone through so much, who's been a hero for you?
Ah, I mean, my husband, really, my husband. He's a very driven person. He's always been very motivated through all he was on the transplant list for 8 years, and it never slowed him down. It never stopped him. He was just like, okay, this is the thing we got to do, and we're going to do that. And I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you can meet anybody alive right now, someone inspirational, who would you love to meet?
My goodness.
Huh.
To me. You know who I would love to meet is Marcus Lemonis. Do you know Marcus from The Prophet?
I know the name. Yeah. Yeah. I can't.
He did a show called The Prophet,
Yeah.
and I love Marcus. he's he's just he seems very approachable and funny, and the show is about helping businesses that were struggling like restructure and grow.
Yeah.
And he was just so caring. You know, some of these shows you get on, especially in the States, and they yell at you, and that's the way they motivate people, is by shaming them and motivating them. And
Yeah.
he's just not like that. He's
Yeah.
just so kind and really smart and very funny. And I would love to meet him.
Awesome. So for someone like him who's very highly driven and motivated, what is that motivation for you? What is your drive and motivation every day to be who you are and to get things done?
It's showing up right now. It's showing up for the caregiving community, which I feel like is just very underserved. And so it's that providing resources, and it's also more than that. It's for the person that was like me, and I felt like I didn't have what I needed, and I struggled. And so it's like, if I have this information and I can give it and help the one other person that's like me, then it's all worth it.
So what's been your best success story in that vein in the caregiving community? Who's responded to what you've done and the work you've done in a way that always puts a smile on your face?
I've gotten so many messages. I've gotten messages from people who were caregivers, and their significant other has passed, and they've just said, like, you nailed it. This is what it was like, and I wish I had this resource when I was going through it. I've had caregivers contact me that said, I haven't been to the doctor in 5 years, and I read your book and I made an appointment. Um, it's that kind of feedback from the community that just helps to lift me up and support me and go, okay, yes, it really is needed and it really is making a difference, and it's worth it to keep going.
So if you were to have a dream tonight, you ran into the 20-year-old version of yourself and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've lived, what would you tell your young version?
Uh, to live the dreams, to live the dreams, and don't be afraid of what other people think. Don't give it two thoughts. Like just go for it, because if you can think it, if you can dream it, it's like already happened. It's happening for you. So don't be so afraid. Don't be so afraid.
It's the Walt Disney quote, you know? It's really kind of like that. So speaking of Walt Disney, if you could see any event in human history that's happened on this planet, what would you love to have seen with your own eyes?
Um, oh my goodness. Don't know.
We could circle back around.
You know what? Woodstock.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Woodstock. I would have Woodstock. I told my husband, so I have some time, but in about a year and a half, it will be my 50th birthday. And my husband and I really want to go back to Paris. And
Yeah.
I told him that I want to go to Jim Morrison's grave. And he was
Oh
like
yeah.
rolling his eyes, like really, Erin? That's what you want to do in Paris? But no, I would have been such a Jim Morrison groupie if I was born in the right era. So I'm going with Woodstock.
That's good. That's a great answer. So everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you
Yeah,
run the show. What's
it's
your
true.
perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think first and foremost, I really am my heart. It lives out on my sleeve and it's out there for everybody. And um, sometimes it hides a little bit. Sometimes there's a little wall that's people have to kind of peek around it to get to it. But that's what I live with. That's what I live through.
So, Erin, if anyone wants the book, learn more about you, your work that you're doing, anything pertaining to your world, where's the best place to go?
My website, erincopelan.com. That's Erin with an E and Copeland with no D.
All right, cool. Yeah. I was thinking about that, how it worked and came together. Erin, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. And I know from my personal standpoint, the godfather of my son, one of my best friends on the planet, he lost his wife some years back, and it was cancer. It was quick. It just was like that. So I know just from his perspective, and just, I mean, we are all so affected by this disease that people, some people survive, others unfortunately don't, but I think we all need help one way or another to get through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's wonderful. Erin, thank you so much. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Great to meet
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Take care.